Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. If you love anime, heartfelt reactions, and deep dives into symbolism and themes, then you're in the right place. Before we jump into today's reaction, don't forget to hit that like button to show some love. Subscribe if you haven't already, and please do ring that notification bell so you never miss a moment of fun. And if you want even more exclusive content like early access to my reactions, full length anime watch alongs, and an amazing community of fellow anime lovers, then please do check out my Patreon. You can find it in the description box below. Your support truly means the world as it helps to keep these reactions coming, and I'd love to have you join our cozy little anime family. Today, we are reacting to episode 31 of Death Note. We saw a bit of mob rule, mob justice happening in episode 30. The American president has decided that he is going to allow Kira to go unchecked. He's not going to essentially prevent him or bring him to justice. That's not his intent. And we also know that he's kind of colluded with Kira in that he has given the details for where the headquarters are based, and Light kind of has Nia cornered. I'm not sure how Nia's going to get out of this, but considering he's like a super genius, I imagine there's some like underground way of getting out of the building without them having to come into contact with the mob that is currently raining down upon them. And again, you have to question, how is this a peaceful society if mob justice is allowed to rule? But okay, Light, whatever fantasies you would like to tell yourself, that you're bringing good to the world, but you're also allowing people to play judge, jury, and executioner. We also had an interaction between Mello and Nia, and that Mello told Nia about the Shinigami and that he believed one of the rules were fake, and that they were possibly collaborating by giving each other information here and there throughout, that they were both hell-bent on finding Kira, that Mello didn't just want the Death Note to kill Nia, that he actually wanted it to try and narrow down who Kira was on the task force. There's also been some seeds of doubt being sown among the Kira investigation by Nia by asking them to inform him if the second L has ever been accused by the first L of being Kira, because Nia already suspects that the second L is Kira, but he doesn't know who the second L is. So he's possibly using this confirmation as a way to find out who the second Kira is, because I don't think he knows that it's Light Yagami, because that's kind of never been said to him. So he maybe doesn't know that it's Light Yagami. It could be anyone on the task force, but I think he's inevitably going to find out that it is. So without further ado, we're going to get into episode 31 and see how Nia manages to escape this, because I don't see Nia getting caught in this trap by Light and his smugness.
Was there ever a point in the investigation where the second L was suspected to be Kira, even if the suspicions were later dropped?
Near. I have to kill him.
Mugi was kind of
Turn on the TV. It's Demigawa.
contemplating ringing them. So was
Comrades and I have finally pinpointed the hideout of the evil organization bent on trying to catch our beloved god Kira. We now have the
I can never say his name. I can never say his name, but they were both kind of contemplating ringing, so it'd be interesting to see if they do.
The traitors may attempt to blend in with the crowd.
The traitors.
I am Kira's loyal servant and spokesman. You must listen to me. Find them, pull them from the building, and bring them in front of the cameras. There'll be a sacrifice to Kira.
And this is peace, do you guys? This is peace? This is
You can't hide from me.
justice?
I'll find you.
Near. You've got no choice. You better evacuate.
You've got some nerve to say that, being Kira. With all the anti-Kira groups around, why is it we're being targeted and right after I start suspecting you?
Yep.
Pretty convenient if you ask me.
Near, with all due respect, you're wrong.
For you,
You're jumping
what the
to
fuck,
conclusions.
man?
Members of the task force, please listen to me. Kira is likely amongst you. Even as we speak, he is in that room.
This is all sounding way too familiar. The original L also thought that Light had to be Kira.
It's not a coincidence.
No way, idiot. We're the first wave. What? Like hell, we're going first.
A bunch of vigilantes.
Really? What pathetic people. But as for this crowd outside,
They're
a completely
enacting
different breed.
violence.
They are truly despicable and stupid. This is just a diversion for them. They're all selfish. We'll use El's legacy and the anti-Kida protesters we hired.
Yes, but we only have one shot with that plan.
I'm aware of that, but I can't imagine a better time to do it.
Money? Just shows you how greedy people truly are. They'll forget all about Kira because of money.
It's money!
Money is king.
Money!
Amazing. Man, I wish I were over there right now.
Matsuda?
Humans are so interesting. Of course, you can use money to get apples, so I can kind of understand.
Damn it! He's planning to use all this chaos to escape into the crowd. Even so, he can't escape from Demikawa's cameras.
You can and he will.
Over there, Violet! Go to the floor where all the money's coming from!
Jeez, what are you doing, Demigawa? Don't you know that you can't buy love and peace with money?
The police have arrived.
Police?
They're a welcome sight in the midst of what can only be called a full-scale riot.
This is bad. At this rate.
Everything's falling
Let's go.
apart for you, Lights.
This is our window of opportunity. We can leave via the front exit.
These little toys. He's so cute.
Damn! Nier was prepared for this situation. He's planning to come out along with the rest of them. And if I tell Aizawa and the others to keep an eye on the police, it'll only make me look that much more suspicious.
I still can't say his name. Aizawa?
Secure the area.
Still can't say it. But yeah, he's coming to the conclusion
Where
that
is he?
Light is
He's gotta be in there somewhere.
Kira.
But where?
Oh, it's so satisfying to see. It's rare that anyone gets one up on Light, but it's so satisfying when it happens. We haven't seen this since L.
Oh, how much money do you think was there? Bet it was a lot.
Matsuda, knock it off!
I bet it was around $10 million or something.
Ooh, what's that in apples?
I love Ryuk.
This is Nier. We've re-established a secure connection, so I thought I should
Is that
give you a call
Optimus
to let you
Prime?
know.
You're safe. That's a relief.
To all of you on the task force, I'm sure that by now some of you are starting to suspect that Kida may be one of you. The number I gave you the day before has been reconnected. Please feel free to call anytime you like.
I've been thinking, and if any of you want to cooperate with Nier, please go ahead. I'm not particularly satisfied with the way things are going either. Ideally, we should cooperate with the SPK. Maybe this will clear the air a little.
I think the only one that believes Light is Matsuda. I had a feeling it would be Matsuda that would turn on Light, but
When I think about
No.
Deputy Director Yagami, I don't want to suspect Light, even a little bit, but...
Welcome back. I didn't know you were going to be home tonight.
oh my god, she's
Oh,
so
yeah.
much
What are you still
older.
doing awake?
I forget how big
couple of
the
exams
jump
coming up.
was.
I see.
We
Well, don't
only
push
saw her
yourself too hard,
one
okay?
other time as like a
too,
little girl. I think Light's gonna kill him because he knows that he suspects him. I think he's going to make the decision to call because he's going to think about what kind of world he wants his daughter to grow up in, and he doesn't want his daughter to grow up in a world dictated by Kira. I did say that with Light's father being gone, that kind of shield of protection is gone. Now, their affection and affiliation with Chief Yagami would have kind of stopped them from questioning Light too much because they would have been blinded by that affection to his father that they couldn't possibly presume that Light would be Kira, that Light could have done anything like that. So now that he's gone, it allows them to kind of look at Light from a new perspective without them being blinded by their love and admiration for Chief Yagami. I did say that that would possibly come into play, and that does seem to be coming into play for I can't say his name for the life of me. I'm so sorry. But it does seem to be popping up now that they can look at him from a more critical lens than they could before.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of the others contacted Nier. It's inevitable. The problem is what comes after that. If I'm too late to act, something might happen that I won't be able to take back.
But if he kills
I've got no
Aizawa,
choice but to do it.
then
An emergency order from Light! Yay!
everyone's going to know it's him, right?
File number 3. Huh?
Unless he writes it that Aizawa kills himself or is killed by a criminal.
Yes, this is
But it
Nier.
would only
I'm
prove
with the
Nier's
Japanese task
suspicions.
force. My name is Aizawa.
I think the instructions he sent to Misa to arrange for Aizawa to die, but to try and make it not look as suspicious. When regaining ownership of the Death Note, the memories associated with the Death Note will also return. In cases where you were involved with other Death Notes as well, memories of all Death Notes involved will return. Okay. Even without obtaining ownership, memories will return just by touching the Death Note.
So, the time has finally come. If I do this, my safety is guaranteed, and I can finally just be a normal wife. This is what Light wants for me. He wants me to be happy, just as a woman should be.
What
You're
does she
saying there were two
mean by
suspects in
like
the Kira
my...
investigation that the
Are they
police
married
obtained
now?
for more
They,
than 50
I guess they
days,
must be
and they
because
were
she
cleared based
says
on the 13-day
as a
rule,
wife, so they
correct?
must be married at this point.
Yes, but of course that alone doesn't prove they were
But her
Kira.
safety
And
will
Al
be
was willing to release them
guaranteed.
because of that?
No, L had Deputy Director Yagami, the chief detective at the time, put on an act. He was instructed to tell the
Is he gonna
suspects
say
that they had
something
both been
stupid
found
like
guilty
get
of being
pregnant
Kira
so I
and
look
the
like a
second Kira,
family man?
and that they were going to be executed.
Like,
The idea was that if he were Kira, the suspect would have killed the chief right then and there.
Kira is quite impressive. He must have used his detainment to demonstrate his innocence. Well done.
Out of curiosity, did the suspect volunteer to be detained as part of the investigation?
yes, he did.
Come to think of it, Light did volunteer to be imprisoned.
Who were those two suspects?
I can't tell you that much. I'm willing to cooperate, but I'm still a member of the Japanese task force
Okay.
working under L.
He's gonna keep it
I
confidential.
understand.
Thank you very much. Your information's been quite valuable.
What were the instructions he gave to Misa?
And besides, I discovered something very important. The person suspected of being Kira is Deputy Director Yagami's son. It's the only possible explanation.
How
Why
did you
else
come
would
to
the
that
Deputy Director
conclusion?
say he would kill Kira and then himself?
Oh,
Therefore,
because
that
of the
means
familial
second L and
connection.
the person I think is Kira can only be one man.
Smart.
Light Yagami.
Right. He's already come to the decision on who it is without having the name confirmed to him. Yeah, no wonder you are Elle's protege. Sheesh.
There's something you should know. I phoned Nier and talked to him.
Don't worry about it. After all, I was the one who recommended it. So, what did the two of you end up discussing? No, on second thought, I probably shouldn't ask. I guess it's not appropriate for me to ask those kinds of questions if I'm a suspect.
I'm sorry to have to do this again, but I want to put you under surveillance until we catch Kira. I'm afraid that goes for Misa Amane as well.
Hang on a second, Aizawa.
No, go right ahead.
Huh? Mogi?
Mogi.
with you. I want to make sure too.
Mogi has his doubts as well.
It would be best for everyone if Light wasn't Kira. But if Amane has any evidence on her that connects her with Kira, then...
Is she gonna destroy, like, her Death Note?
Mochi! Monchichi! Long time no see, you two! Light hasn't been home at all lately, so I've been super bored.
We're just investigating a tip that there were explosives
Is she
planted in Elle's
tasked
house.
with
We think it's a
seducing
prank, but
them?
We'd like to check the rooms just in case.
What? How about Light? Is he okay? I have to call him.
No, you can't call him right now.
How come?
Don't worry, Light's safe, but he's really busy right now.
Search as much as you like, Aizawa. You won't find the notebook.
What's she done with it?
Greetings to all my fellow Kira worshippers. I am Demikawa, the voice of our god Kira. Behold! This is the new Kira's Kingdom, which shares its name with this program. Its
Oh
construction
my
is going
God.
smoothly, but will depend on the
What
generous
the
support of
fuck?
our loyal viewers. Once it has been completed, let us welcome our god here!
Whoa, talk about bad taste.
Oh, he looks disgusted.
We are now
It's
accepting
almost
donations,
like
starting at the ~1,000,000 mark towards the
they're
completion of Kira's
exploiting the
Kingdom.
cult of Kira for
This
their
sounds
own
like a
financial
con.
gain.
Yep.
It's
just
like
another scam at this
religion
point.
in general, let's be
It
real.
doesn't even seem like Kira's style.
It's not.
He's just acting on his own now. If he keeps doing this, he'll end up pushing people away from Kira. I don't need him anymore, but I can't do much at the moment.
Next on the program, it's time for me to introduce the new leaders I have chosen for Kira's Kingdom. The first gentleman is...
Delete.
We will unite with Kira and work with him!
Delete.
What the fuck? Who's this person? Who are you?
Save me!
Is he gonna pretend to be Kira?
And delete. Why would Kira kill his own supporters?
Do you
Did
think it's
Light
because they're going
have
overboard
this
with this?
planned? Because
That might be a possibility.
Light said he
But
wasn't.
this is
If he
horrible.
continued, he'd
What's
get
going
rid of
on?
him.
There was no chance for either Misa Amane or Light to use the notebook to kill Demigawa.
Because the notebook's been given to someone else, like
Mikami.
Kikuchi.
I can definitely use him. It seems I was right to choose him for this. He understands Kira's beliefs and ideals perfectly, and he knows what Kira wants and doesn't want. Thanks to
Okay.
that, he takes action without needing my orders. I had Misa relinquish ownership of the Death Note. Before she lost all her memories of the notebook, she sent it to someone else, along with some special instructions.
That's what he asked her to
Now she
do.
won't be able to answer any questions about it. She's just an ordinary woman. The main problem was selecting the next owner. I saw him trying to speak to Kira through the television broadcasts. It was clear he worshipped Kira from the bottom of his heart. He would understand that he was chosen simply by receiving and accepting the notebook.
So he's acted on this without Light having to order anything because he knew.
He's more than worthy of becoming the hand of Kira.
Shinigami, thank you for coming to me. Now I'll be able to punish evildoers with death.
He has the Shinigami eyes as well.
God.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay, so we have another character coming into play. So that's what Misa means by I'll just be an ordinary wife and this guarantees my safety. She relinquished the Death Note, it's gone to Mikami. The Light was thinking about inevitably getting rid of him because he was taking it too far and he was making a mockery out of Kira to the extent that it would push people away because it would be seen as not the benevolent justice that they believe it to be, but another money grabbing scheme that's corrupt and focusing on putting unworthy people in positions of power. He was thinking of doing it, but it was actually Mikami that did it without needing guidance. He already kind of knows the will of Kira without needing direction in the same way that Misa needed direction. But yes, it makes sense that she can be a normal wife to Light because she doesn't remember the Death Note. She doesn't remember anything about it. Maybe she will stay alive until the series ends, but I'm always a bit worried that Light might just get rid of her because she annoys him rather than keeping her around. But again, she is not a threat to him. And that's what she means by it guarantees her safety because she doesn't have the eyes. She doesn't have the Death Note. If he breaks up with her, he's back. Please, not the keyboard, please. Not the keyboard. So that's what she means. Sally, I'm trying to finish filming. It's the last episode that I need to do. Please, 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 please. It's the literal last thing I need to film, and I need to just do the outro. Okay. Now I can finish. So that's what she means by it guarantees her safety, because obviously by relinquishing the Death Note, she's no longer a threat to Light. Like, she doesn't have the eyes, she doesn't have the Death Note. She can just go and live a normal life as a normal woman, or a normal wife is what she called it. That still doesn't mean that Light wouldn't get rid of her if she annoyed him. He could just write her name in the Death Note, but I don't know if he would, or if he would just break up with her. But hopefully he's being truthful when he says it will guarantee her safety if she gives the Death Note up. But he really has no use for her now, because Mikuni has the notebook. Mikuni also has the eyes, because he's made the eye deal. So he really has his right-hand man. He doesn't need Misa, and he trusts Mikuni. So I'm worried that he may just get rid of Misa, because it's just a loose end that he can tie up. But she doesn't remember anything anyway. So, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. In theory, she doesn't remember anything. So he could just break up with her and be like, oh yeah, we're just not compatible anymore. Like, he doesn't need to keep her around for any reason, because she shouldn't know anything. She can't like dob him in. She can't tell anyone that he's Kira. So, I mean, I guess it doesn't really. Please. Not the keyboard, Sully. It'll be interesting to see how Mikuni plays out, especially now he is making decisive action, decisive decisions. I wonder if Light will get sick of him, as he seems to get sick of everyone and just gets rid of him. But it doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be that he's picked someone that really worships Kira from the bottom of his heart and understands fundamentally what Kira wants to achieve, hence why he trusts him absolutely to enact whatever he desires in Kira's name, because he knows that it's going to align with his own goals. But yeah, I didn't expect them to bring in yet another character in when we only have 6 episodes left. So I was a bit like, what the fuck is going on? I was a bit taken aback, but he seems like he's going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing that dynamic with Light and how that plays out. So it's now 2 against 2, because we don't really count Misa, because she really didn't enact anything on her own. It was always with Light's direction and instruction, whereas Mikuni is kind of trusted to enact Kira's will without Light needing to tell him to do anything. So it is a bit more of a even match now between Light, Mikuni, Nier, and Mello. The pieces are coming into play. The battle is about to begin, and Light now has an equal advantage. He has an equal opportunity. If anything, they kind of have more of an advantage because they have the Death Notes than Nier and Mello do, but he now has someone that's on the same playing field as himself in terms of intelligence and drive to enact Kira's will. It's going to be significantly interesting to watch the next 6 episodes play out, and how this dynamic is going to work alongside the dynamic of Nier and Mello. I'm really enjoying this so far. I can understand why people say that they didn't really watch after episode 25, because it didn't feel it was as good. And I get where people are coming from, because it does feel a little bit rushed. From episode 1 to 25, we've had really slow, concise progression. Whereas from like episode 26 to 31, we have like bounced between so many different things that it can be a little bit hard to follow, because you have kind of been bounced around from one place to the other. Like Sayu was kidnapped, then they were in LA, then they were back to Japan, then Chief Yagami took the Death Note and the Ideal, then Chief Yagami died, Mello gets burned and scarred for life, meets up with Nia, the American president allows Kira to get away with what's happening, then there's the riot, then there's Demigawa inciting chaos, then Demigawa dies, now we have Mikuni, who's a new character. So yeah, there's definitely a pacing increase compared to episode 1 to 25. And I think it's because they're trying to obviously fit as much as they can in from the manga before the show has to come to an end. Maybe they only had set episodes in which to wrap up the Death Note. So therefore they were like, we have to include as much as we can that makes sense in a shorter frame of time than we do from episode 1 to 25. So yeah, the pacing does feel like it's been ramped up and it's increased more so than the first half of Death Note. But I have been enjoying it so far, so I'm not going to complain. I did feel that some of the episodes from 1 to 25, there were parts that were incredibly slow and kind of dragged, like the Yatsuba arc. It kind of dragged at the beginning. When it picked up, it was amazing, but at the beginning, it was really slow, and it was kind of like, okay, this isn't as interesting as everything else that we've been watching. towards the end, they were some of my favorite episodes. Yeah, the first half is quite slow, and there are episodes where it kind of drags and you're not as engaged as what you feel you should be. But then the second half has the opposite problem, where like it is moving too fast that it's hard to stay engaged with the characters because you don't really get to know them as well. You don't get to really spend as much time with them. For example, if Nia died, I don't think I'd be sad because I don't really know him, whereas like the slow progression throughout the first half is what gives that emotional gut punch when Elle dies, because we've got to know him over those 25 episodes. We've got to see that dynamic play out. We've become attached to him, especially because of the slower episodes, whereas we haven't really got that same attachment with Nia and Mello because we haven't really got to know them as well because the episodes bounce around so much. So I do like the new characters that are introduced. I do think they're very interesting. I think the dynamic that's coming out is a fascinating one to watch, especially now that Light has a right-hand man that is on equal footing with himself and that they are going up against Nia and Mello. So the battle is moving. I still can't believe we've only 6 episodes of Death Note left. Feels like yesterday I started this series and now we're coming to the end of it, and I'm kind of sad. I do really enjoy the series. Kind of bittersweet. We're ramping up to the conclusion, but at the same time, I'm never going to be able to watch this show again for the first time. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone that's been joining me on this react and has followed my journey with this series. It has been really enjoyable. I think it's definitely up there as one of the most entertaining shows I have watched. After Death Note is finished, I will be watching Freyren. I have watched 12 episodes so far and they are up on Patreon, and then I had to take a break to focus on filming Death Note and Attack on Titan because obviously filming 3 series while you work a full-time job as well as editing all 3 and making thumbnails for all 3 just isn't feasible. It's exhausting. And then after Freyren is finished, it'll be either Steins Gate or Monster. I am not sure which order to watch them in. I don't know whether to do Monster first or Steins Gate first, so I'm kind of torn. Those are the 2 series that will be following Freyren. I just haven't decided which order, whether Monster will be before Steins Gate or Steins Gate will be before Monster. I'll probably put a poll on Patreon and allow Patreon to decide on which one I watch first and foremost. Yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see how this show concludes. I am very nervous and sad at the same time. I feel like if Light does die, I'm still gonna cry just because we've been with him since episode 1 and we've seen the different dynamics to him. I think I'll still get emotional even if I've not liked him the whole time. I don't think I'd celebrate his death. I think I'd probably still be sad, which seems really silly considering how much I've disliked him. But I'm very emotional, empathetic person. So I think even though I don't think he's deserving of my empathy, I just know that if Light dies, it's going to be like Elle's death, where it's overly focused on and they're going to have a really emotional score, and that's what's going to set me off. It's the music that makes me cry more than anything. But yeah, it's going to be really funny to kind of see if that happens because I haven't been his biggest fan, but at the same time, I just watching people in pain or suffering just makes me sad, makes me cry. I'm just a very like emotional person. I cry very easily. You'll see on this channel, it doesn't take much to make me cry, which is, I don't know whether it's a good or a bad thing, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye.